Hello there. Welcome to the Dark Artisan with me, Grant. This time, flying solo as Harry is feeling a little bit under the weather. So I will attempt to do this on my own and we'll see where we go. So here we are at Broken Realms Belakor. So let's find out if the new rules justify that pretty fantastic new model. Although arguably he has been overshadowed by Croak. So maybe they could have held off revealing Croak until after we'd seen this, but yeah. Belakor, the Dark Master. Okay, so he is noticeably more fighty than he was before, which makes sense. The model's pretty old. It was in bad need of an update, and they've definitely knocked it out of the park. But obviously, the main thing we all want to know about is his ability to stop enemy units doing things. So now, it is once per battle. At the start of the enemy hero phase, you can pick one enemy unit on the battlefield. Until your next hero phase, at the start of each phase, including the phase in which the unit was picked, you can roll a dice for that unit. And on a 3+, you can't do anything, basically. So this is noticeably different because you don't have to roll every time the unit tries to do something. It's just one off, 3 up, that unit's doing nothing. So he's still going to be as annoying as Belakor has been for a while now. He's still ethereal, effectively. He's now got 14 wounds, 4 up save. Yeah, he's going to be sticking around. His Blade of Shadows is now 8 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, 2 damage. Yeah, he's definitely gonna do work now. Is he gonna be worth the new points? It depends. I think he is coming in at, let me just flip back and check. He is 380 points. So yeah, he's quite a bit more expensive, but he's a good bit more fighty and a good bit more survivable, especially if you're running him in his own Legion of the First Prince. So, what does that get you? So, the first benefit is similar, if not exactly the same to what it was before, where you can reroll hit rolls of attacks made by Belakor if he's within 18 inch of at least one friendly unit from Bloodletters, Horrors, Plague Bearers, or Demonettes. So, I don't think that's going to come up too often. It's not the easiest thing to put together, but However, you can allocate, if you're allocating a wound or mortal wound to Belakor, you can pick one friendly unit within 9 of him with one of the following warscrolls, so your Bloodletters, Horrors, Plague Bearers, or Demonettes, and on a 4+, he shrugs the wound off on them. So you're already looking at a character with 14 wounds on a 4-up save who can now shrug off damage on a 4+. So yeah, that's going to be really hard to get rid of. I mean, yeah, he's definitely going to be a problem. Now, the next ability, the Cursed Skies, has changed. It's been cleared up. At the end of the Battle Shock phase, if Belakor is your general and on the battlefield, roll a dice for each friendly unit on the battlefield from the following warscrolls: Bloodletters, Horrors of Tzeentch, Plague Bearers, Demonettes, Furies. On a 3-up, you can return D3 slain models to that unit. If it's a horror unit, you can only return 1. So the big, I guess, improvement or clarification, if nothing else, there is that it's no longer the keyword Bloodletters, Horrors, Plague Bearers, because previously, before, you could return D3 Plague Drones because they have the Plague Bearers keyword. Obviously, that was never intended, and this is just that nice clarification on that. So you've still got the 6-up mortal wound shrug from the Infernal Realmwalkers rule. And on a 3d6, you roll the enemy move phase, you pick one friendly hero that's on the battlefield, roll a 3d6 and a 10+, you can summon one of the following units to the battlefield, which is God-specific, 10 Bloodletters, 5 Horrors, 10 Plague Bearers, 10 Demonettes, or if you're Belakor, any one of the above, or 6 Furies. So yeah, overall, a nice wee cleanup of what the Legion of the First Prince can do, along with the big man himself. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's interesting where he's going to be now. He was obviously a lot cheaper before. Now you've got to justify him for his added fighting ability. Whether that's worth it or not, I don't know. I don't play Chaos Demons in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see, because there's definitely people playing these lists, and these lists have been kicking about for a while now. Will the points increase to Belakor change that? Who knows? I think he's going to be great to see on the table. I think it was, for as important a figure as Belakor has been in the lore, the model was badly needing an update, and they've definitely knocked it out of the park with this one. So the other thing that we get with this is every wizard in the Legion of the First Prince knows the following spell in addition to any others they know. So there isn't a lore for the Legion of the First Prince, but everyone gains an extra spell, which is the Master's Command. So it's a casting value of 7. If cast, pick one friendly Legion of the First Prince unit within 12 of the caster and visible until the end of the battle round. If the model unit is slain by an attack made with a melee weapon, they can fight before it's removed. So, there's nothing bad about fighting when you die. Then you've got the command traits, but honestly, I would imagine most people are going to have Belakor as their general, so they're probably not going to matter. The artifacts are nothing amazing. I mean, really, you're taking this because you want to run Belakor and a multitude of demons in a proper mixed demons list. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good, and I think it's hard to say because of the points increased to Belakor, but I'm sure it'll still be a thing. I have no doubt. So, along with that isn't all we get in this book. We also get a nice update to Nighthaunt, among other things. Now, Nighthaunt's one of the books that obviously we got at the start of AOS 2. They've struggled, to put it mildly, and they did get a shot in the arm with Legion of Grief, but it wasn't really Nighthaunt you were playing at that point. So now we have new Nighthaunt processions. So if you are Nighthaunt, then these are effectively like your Storm Hosts and your KO barracks and your Cities of Sigmar. So there's 2 of them. One themed around Lady Olynder and one themed around Reiknor. So Lady Olynder is the Emerald Host. So those abilities are the Emerald Curse. After armies are set up, but before the first battle round begins, we pick one enemy hero, and for duration of that battle, subtract 1 from save rolls for that hero. That's a huge boost for Nighthaunt, as they don't typically have a lot of rend, so being able to knock off a key hero is potentially very strong. And then the Knights of Regret. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by Emerald Host Hexwraith units that have made a charge move in the same turn. In addition, roll a dice for you allocate a wound or mortal wound to your general if they are within 3 of any friendly enemy host units. On a 2+, you allocate the wound to them instead. So it gives your general a huge boost in survivability if you're running Hexwraiths, which is pretty much what this is all based around. So you've only got a command trait, which is you can use the command ability on the general's war scroll without spending a command point, which it's only once per battle, so it's not that great, but if you want to run Hexwraiths, you've already got a benefit there. And then the artifact is +1 attack characteristic to the Bearer's Sword of Stolen Hours to the first Emerald Host Knight of Shrouds that get the artifact. So if you're running Hexwraiths, I think this has definitely got some play. It just depends if you're running Hexwraiths. Really, it's a very focused procession. Now we also have is Reiknor's one, which is Reiknor's Condemned. So now this is based around Chain Rasps and that forgotten unit, the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. So if you're wanting to build around them, I mean, Chain Rasp builds are definitely something that we see. Stalkers not so much, but you never know. Maybe this is where they're going to shine. So Unrelenting Taskmasters. You can reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Reiknor's Condemned, Chain Rasp Hordes, or Glaive Stalkers while they are wholly within 15 inch of any Spirit Torments or Chain Ghasts. So you were getting reroll ones before from them, now you're getting reroll failed. Now if reroll failed, not reroll all, so obviously -1 to hits are still gonna hurt you, but that's a huge boost on the output. Again, these aren't the fightiest of units. Chain Rasps are a tar pit. Glaive Stalkers are honestly forgettable. I don't think anyone's really been using them. But having your Chain Rasp Horde fight, re-rolling all their hits, and then with their wound roll buffs, once they're above a certain number, and tarring the enemy down, is going to pair nicely with the second rule, which is in addition, each time a friendly Reiknor's Condemned Chain Rasp Horde unit or Glaive Stalker unit is affected by the Spectral Lure or Temporal Translocation spell, you return D6 models to that unit, in addition to any returned by the Spectral Rule spell. So yeah, this is definitely a list built around just tarring people up with Chain Rasps. Your command ability is you can pick one friendly Chain Rasp Horde or Glaive Stalker unit that's wholly within 12 of a hero or within 18 of Reiknor, and add 6 inches to the move phase. So now your Chain Rasps are flying across the table. And then the artifact I really like, it's one of Reiknor's own Corpse Candles. So once per battle in your hero phase or the combat phase, the bearer can choose to snuff out the Corpse Candle. So in your hero phase, you either pick their bearer or one enemy model within 12, and the model suffers 1 mortal wound. If it was taken on an enemy model, you get +1 to cast. If it's on yourself, you get +3 to cast. And if you do it in the combat phase, you pick one within 12. If the enemy takes the mortal wound, you get +1 to hit rolls. If you take the mortal wound, you get +1 to hit and wound. So yeah, I think it's nice to see Nighthaunt getting something. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, but that's not all. There is a new battalion and a new character and a rewrite for the Dreadscythe Harridans. So by this point, the Dreadscythe Harridans have been seen on Warhammer Community. So their Howling Shriek is a -1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy models with a bravery characteristic of less than 7 within 3 units of this ability. So less than 7 is pretty good. It's going to be a lot of your battle line units are going to struggle to hit these guys back. And then Murderous Bloodlust is 6s to hit, deal 2 hits instead of 1. So yeah, you're getting a nice buff there with that. And then the new character, the Cruelghast Cruciator, has a missile weapon, the Phantasmal Torture, 12-inch range, 4 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, -2 random, 1 damage. So it's a nice wee range attack. And melee weapon is the Talons and Flensing Knives, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 and 1 damage. Again, he's ethereal as we would expect and can fly. The Empowering Excruciation. If any wounds inflicted by this model's Phantasmal Torture are allocated to an enemy model and not negated, this model becomes empowered until your next shooting phases. The Deathless Spirits traits battle trait negates wounds allocated to friendly Nighthaunt units within 12-inch of any empowered Cruciator on a 5-up instead of a 6+. So yeah, again, look at this with the Chain Rasp Horde build. You've now got a unit of Chain Rasp with a 5-up Ethereal save and then a 5-up Shrug if you can do any damage with the Phantasmal Torture. Yeah, that's definitely seems to be the way they're leaning at the moment for Nighthaunt, at least based on what we've got here. They do, however, also have the Sorrowmourn Choir, which is Lady Olynder, 1 Dreadscythe Harridan units, and 2 Maimorn Banshee units. So roll a dice for you, allocate a wound or mortal wound to the Lady Olynder from this battalion. If she's within 3 inches of other units from the same battalion on a 2+, they take the mortal wounds. So especially if you combine this with her own battalion, she's going to be fairly protected by any of these units or hex wraiths near her. And she also counts as the general due to the unrequited queen rule. So overall, it's it's something for the Nighthaunt. But they're not alone in this book from the side of Order. And we also have, let's go with the Celestial Stampede. So this is a War Scroll battalion, nicely accompanied by a box for the Seraphon, which is 1 Stegodon with Skink Chief, a 1 Engine of the Gods or Stegodon, and 1 Bastiladon. So this is a great wee box. And what do we get from this? So the Stegodon with Skink Chief, who is a named character, Star Warden Ikto, has the Prime Warbeast command trait, even if he's not your general. So hey, free command traits. And now the other benefit is the Lance of Cosmic Power. So once per battle, at the start of your shooting phase, you can say this battalion is going to shoot a Lance of Cosmic Power. If you do so, you cannot make Cosmic Engine rolls for units from this battalion in that phase, and you cannot use the Trove Rolled 1 Technology command ability in that phase. Instead, pick 1 enemy unit within 24 of Star Warden Ikto, and roll 1 dice for each Engine of the Gods from this battalion is within 24 of the enemy unit, and roll 2 dice for each Bastiladon. So what's that? 3 dice? And each 2 plus the enemy takes D3 mortal wounds? Unless I'm missing something, that doesn't seem particularly exciting. How many points is that one? The Celestial Stampede, 140 points. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. On top of that, what we do get is the bound versions of all the endless spells from Malign Sorcery. So the Horrorghast, the Shards of Valagar, the Screambidge, and Laukon, whatever he's called, the Soul Seeker. So I think the most interesting one there is probably the Shards, where if you draw the 1mm line between the 2 bases, it's -1 to hit rolls, but yeah, I don't know if it's enough. Again, you're paying 10 points extra for all of these. Yeah, I mean, it's just standard Seraphon spell buffs, but it's nice these spells haven't been forgotten. It's nice they're still in there. I still think there's some pretty cool models. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I don't really know much about Seraphon. I've not really seen much of them use endless spells apart from the good old Bill and Vortex, and given that's no longer on the GW website, who knows how much longer we're going to have that for. But we're not leaving Order completely away yet. We've got some love for the KO. Now, obviously, we know that the KO love their triumphs with their Aether Gold ability. And what we've got here is Guild Triumphs. So these are extra ones to pick from. So it does say you still can pick the main ones, but if you want to try something different, you have specific ones for the Aether Chemists Guild, the Navigators, and the Engineers. So whether any of these are that exciting, I'm not sure. Nothing jumped out at me. I still think most of the time you're going to be wanting reroll hits or wounds or saves on a unit. I think they're still pretty hard to beat, but it's nice to have these options. I'm sure there will be reasons to take them. The other thing we get is a battalion, which is 1 Engine Master and 2 Engine Riggers or Skywardens. Now, it does mean that the leader in this battalion is a unique named character, so we can't take any artifacts. But the ability is you get +3 to the move characteristic of all the units in this battalion. In addition, at the start of your movement phase, for each unit in this battalion, you can pick 1 friendly sky vessel that is within 3 of that unit, and they gain 3 to the move characteristic. So you're really buffing the speed of a lot of your army. Now, how useful that is depends on where you are in the game, but obviously early on you've got that fly high ability, but once your enemy's too close together, those extra 3 inches is probably going to be pretty good. I definitely think if you're wanting to take these units, this could, I know I just said definitely then could, it could be good. We're looking at the points at 120 points. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think making the Engine Master a named character is maybe a little bit harsh, just because there is a lot of fun artifacts you can put on them that you now can't or any command traits, and he doesn't get anything from being a named character. It's just literally a downside. But hey, it's there. It's something you can do. Now we've also got a couple of War Scroll rewrites for the Fireslayers. The Grimwrath Berserker now gets the Grimwrath Oath. So at the start of the first battle round, you can pick one of the following oaths for this model to swear. So if your army includes more than one model, you cannot pick the same oath more than once. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after 6 Grimwrath Berserkers, you're running out of oaths. So what have we got here? So we've got +1 to hit and wound against priests. We've got, you can pick one friendly Fireslayers hero other than, that doesn't have the Magmadroth keyword. And if it's within 3 inches of this model and not within 3 inches of a friendly Auric Hearthguard unit, when you allocate a wound or mortal wound to that hero on a 2+, it goes to this model. Okay. A run in charge, and you can reroll run in charges, so that's an easy pick for your first one, I think. Add +1 to hit and wound for attacks made by this model while this model is within 12 inches of a friendly allied unit. It does buff itself if it's an allied unit. So if you're allying in a Grimwrath Berserker, then that's definitely something to look at, because then his Firestorm Great Axe is 2s and 2s, 4 attacks, -2 rend, 2 damage. Then you've got a 6-up shrug. Add 1 to the dice roll if you're within 3 of an enemy. So normally on a 6-up, if you're in combat on a 5-up, you can shrug damage. And unmodified 6s do a mortal wound. Yeah, I think it's fine. I've definitely seen Joel McGrath over in Australia ran a list with God knows how many of those running about the table. It looked like a lot of fun. It looked very cool. I believe he also had Gotrek in the list. So something like that would just add a bit more flavour to that. We've also got an updated scroll for the Doomseeker. Now, I have to admit, I'm not overly familiar with the original Doomseeker scroll. He is Oathbound, so at the start of the first battle round, pick one enemy unit for this to swear to destroy. At the end of the combat phase, if this model is within 3 inches of that unit and has fought no more than once that phase, he can fight again but only target that unit. And if he's killed within 3 inches of that unit, he can fight before he's removed. Now add +1 to the damage characteristic of the model's melee weapons if he's 1 wound, +2 if he's got 2 wounds. Or when it fights after it's been slain. So, yeah, he's not amazing is the only issue with him. I mean, his Doomseeker axe is 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1/1. Best case, that goes to damage 3, and his Runic War Iron is the same but without rend. Yeah, I think it's a shame. I think the Doomseeker is quite a fun idea. He's, obviously like the old Slayers were basically seeking their doom, and now we've got someone named the Doomseeker who just seems to be a little bit lackluster. But, and then the last bit of this, well, there's 2 more points to go. We also have Gardas Steel Soul making his debut, doing a superhero landing, who is a named Lord Celestant with all the problems that, Lord Celestants and Stormcast have in general. I mean, all his weapons are 1 damage. He can +1 to hit rolls for all Stormcasts near him. Like the other ones can. He's got Martyr Strength, so once you're slain in combat on a 2+, you can fight. Roll a Aura of Purity, roll a dice each time you allocate a mortal wound to this model. On a 5-up, the mortal wound is negated. In addition, each time you allocate a mortal wound to a model of another friendly Knights unit, wholly friendly Hallowed Knights unit, wholly within 12, on a 6. So, yeah, it's nice, but it's not enough to really buff Stormcast in any great way. But he's a cool model. He's got another rule. Saintly Assault. Once per battle, at the start of your charge phase, you can declare this model and other friendly Hallowed Knights heroes within 12 can launch a Saintly Assault, reroll charge rolls, and add +1 to the attack's characteristics. Yeah, there's probably something in that, but I just think Stormcast are in such a weird and frankly fairly terrible place at the moment that this isn't going to fix them, but hopefully something will. I really like Stormcast. I love my Stormcast army. They just don't do much at the moment. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about that. If you like the model, great. If you play Hallowed Knights, even better. Get him, paint him. I'm a Celestial Vindicators man, so he doesn't really speak to me much. But I've heard very good things about the novels. So there you go. Now, we've also got a battalion for Tzeentch, which is Atrazan's Blazing Cavalcade, which is 1 Fate Skimmer on the Herald of Tzeentch, and again, the hero's a named character, which I think we've seen in pretty much every Broken Realms battalion. And then 1 to 3 Horrors of Tzeentch unit with a combined model count of no more than 30 models. So, what do we have here? So, we have Gleeful Immolation. +1 to attack characteristics of melee weapons used by this battalion if you made a charge move in the same turn. However, this does stop you completing the Reckless Abandon agenda from the battle totem. Now, you've also got the Opus Infernus. So, the named Fate Skimmer knows Tzeentch's Firestorm spell from the Lore of Change in addition to any other spells he knows, and he gets +2 to the casting roll when he attempts to cast that spell. I mean, Tzeentch already have great battalions. I'm really not sure you would really bother with this one. +1 attack for melee weapons is nice, but you're not really taking Horrors to hurt. You're taking Horrors to stand there and split and split and split. And with that, I think it's a very quick run through today. I do apologize for that. This is my first time trying to do something like this on my own, and none of them are armies that I play myself or I'm overly familiar with. But here we are. So this is just now 3 books into Broken Realms. The next one is the one that I'm most excited for, as it is supposed to be Kragnos. So it's a completely new character. We've no idea what to expect from what's coming up. I assume after that we're going to get Croak as the last book. I can't imagine they would put Croak into a book that's not named after him. And where it leads from then, I think we can all speculate where this is going, especially those of us who also play Warhammer 40,000. It's got more than a touch of Psychic Awakening about it. But yeah, I hope some of you found this useful, and next time I'm sure me and Harry will be back together to discuss it, which always makes it a lot easier to discuss when you're bouncing ideas off each other. But for now, goodbye.